Abel, because this will be quite interesting to see where the Greens sit.
In the House today, the confiscation followed by the exploitation. The bill before us today, the Takutai Moana Amendment Bill, is the raupatu, the confiscation, and it will be shortly followed by the Crown Minerals Amendment Bill, which is the ban on oil bill revocation bill, and that is the exploitation. I wonder at this idea, Madam Speaker, that we are in a post-colonial era, because I think the test of whether we are is to answer the question, are the patterns and processes and means of colonisation still being practiced? First confiscation followed by exploitation. As part of the long habit of colonisation. New Zealand's first oil well was drilled in 1865 in Taranaki on land confiscated from Māori.
That's true, Mr. Abel, but this is the next bill that can you speak about this bill?
I am, yeah. I'm speaking about the Takutai Moana.
I know you're speaking about them both, but then you've gone on to oil, so can we please bring it back to the Moana?
Sure, and I guess, Madam Speaker, can I clarify, am I able to speak about what I believe are the intentions underlying the Takutai Moana bill, which is to extinguish Māori customary rights so as to facilitate exploitation of resources?
Yes, and that's related to the bill, so you are.
Yes, that is what I'm speaking of. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would say that is part of the long habit of colonisation, is that you have to first acquire the resources before you can exploit them. And so the confiscation comes first before the exploitation. The whole invasion of the Waikato, Madam Speaker, by Governor Gray was to access the land that Māori were very effectively being productive on, highly productive land as far as the eye could see, exports to California and to Australia. And Gray built the Great South Road, and he came and took that land, and then it was exploited and handed out indeed to the very troops who had committed the atrocities by which the land was acquired. And we have spoken here in this House, Madam Speaker, with grave remorse on the treaty settlement speeches about the wrongness of those raupatu. But like an apologetic recidivist abuser who says, I'm sorry, I won't do it again, here we are, this government is doing it again. This is a raupatu of Māori customary rights. 20 years since the foreshore and seabed legislation, there is a sinister symmetry today in the House, Madam Speaker. And in 2004, the foreshore and seabed extinguished Māori rights and asserted Crown domination of the marine coastal environment. And shortly after, in 2006, a swathe of new oil and gas exploration permits were issued by Harry Deinhoven, the Minister at the time. First confiscation, then exploitation. Those same permits were relinquished because of the campaigns by members of the community and iwi and Alliance who got those oil exploration companies to relinquish their permits one by one against the public resistance. The ocean is a taonga to tangata whenua Māori. Access to it is their right under tino rangatiratanga. The destruction of nature is part of the pattern of colonisation. Here today, yet another bill that takes away that fundamental customary right of Māori to their Takutai Moana and makes way for its exploitation and its destruction. I want to read, Madam Speaker, from the finding of the Waitangi Tribunal on this piece of legislation. At present, the Crown's actions are such a gross breach of the treaty that if it proceeds, these amendments would be an illegitimate exercise of kawanatanga. We caution the Crown that on the strength of the evidence we have received, to proceed now on its current course will significantly endanger the Māori-Crown relation. Now, Madam Speaker, Te Tiriti o Waitangi is fundamentally about relationship. If you continually eat away and take a sledgehammer to the foundation of our nation in that founding agreement, you fundamentally harm the basic relationship on which our nation is built. And so I implore this government to stop it with these destructions of the undermining of tino rangatiratanga for Māori. It is for the harm of all New Zealanders that this government proceeds with those actions, and we will not be supporting this raupatu 2024. Kia ora.
Bit of leftist infighting there, bringing up Harry in the 2004 Act. Yeah, does anyone know that about Harry? Because he was a member of Labour. What was he the minister of again? Was it?
That was the MP for New Plymouth who had Dutch citizenship and got into a bit of shit over that.
Yeah, because I've got in my notes that he awarded 13 exploration permits involving over 130 million in new investments in the Taranaki region, and these companies included the Pogo producing company out of the United States and the Rock Oil company from Australia. So that was in 2004 with the Labour Party.
Yeah, it doesn't say much about what he was minister of. All I know is he got he was in the shit about his citizenship because he had Dutch citizenship, but it expired. It was something. He didn't renew a passport at some point, so it technically expired. Then he reapplied for it and then realised he breached the Act because he was an MP concurrently at the same time. It did says that he served as a minister outside of Cabinet, which was Associate Minister of Transport and then later Minister of Transport Safety and Associate Minister of of Energy until he got booted out in 2008, and he was one of those MPs who were electorate only. So yeah, but yeah, it says very little. I mean, it did also state the fact that he was the mayor of New Plymouth,
Yep.
and was
So-
he the one who lost his seat because of the Māori wards?
I'm not sure.
No, I think that was the no. That was that's Andrew Judd, the next mayor. Yeah, I don't know.
So there's a question that keeps coming up in the chat, and Steve keeps referring to this as raupatu. He's referring that this amendment is a form of raupatu, so confiscation of Māori customary rights. So it's the government taking away those customary rights, and that's the type of raupatu.